Thank you so much, Mr. Kapania, for joining in. As strange as it may be, I want to start off with what is now a firm competition on the anvil, RelGeo. What are your thoughts? You know, a lot of reports that we scanned, our research team scanned, seem to suggest, for the right or the wrong reasons, and you'll be the best place to speak about it, is that Idea would face stiff competition because of this. How do you see all of this?
First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me for ringing the bell.
Your pleasure was ours, Mr. Kapania.
And it's almost after 8 years that I'm back here after 2007 when we did our IPO. Yes, market over the last 8 years has its ups and downs, and we've seen it all.
Yes.
And we now enter a new phase of telecom business. I would term it an exciting phase rather than disruptive phase, which both media and analysts are talking about. Reason is, as you're aware today, the overall telecom market is at a size of 1,80,000 crores, and about 1,60,000 crores is the voice market, and about 20,000 crores is mobile data market. Over the next 4 to 5 years, we expect this market to go up to about $50 billion, close to 3 lakh to 3,50,000 crores. And we will have a mobile data market which will be anywhere between 1,25,000 to 1,50,000. And as in terms of subscribers, we have only currently on 3G just about 90 million subscribers against an overall mobility subscribers of 900 million.
Sure.
And we expect in the next 4 to 5 years about 500 million subscribers.
Okay.
So we'll all slug it all. There are 4 of us, I'm sure, and may the best operator win.
Okay, yeah, indeed. Well, I hope a lot of you win, quite frankly. But, you know, about 6 to 9 months ago, a lot of people believe that the growth rate on the voice bit is going to moderate because there's a higher base, so on and so forth, and data would be the way forward. And I would believe in a couple of interactions, you would probably mention that as well. Now, the fear that the market will have for the existing operators is that there's a large data operator with deep pockets, with a history of having disruptive pricing as well, which could be a problem for companies such as yours and the existing players in the short to the medium term. Are those concerns valid, and how would operators at large, not just Idea, navigate through this?
So let's split your question into 2 parts.
Sure.
First part is as far as voice business is concerned. So while there is worries about voice, I'd like to assure the market that voice will continue to grow for the next 3 to 4 years. Reason is we never had it so good as it is in 2015. 2013, India saw an overall subscriber addition of about 40 million. 2014, India saw about 60 million. And 2015 seemed to be ending at 80 million subscribers. So almost 1/4 of world subscribers are coming to India. And still there is a lot of unsatisfied demand. Almost 300 to 400 million Indians still don't own a mobile service.
Right.
So voice will be a staple business for us. But your key question is, what about mobile data?
Yes.
Are you expecting a lot of disruption? I think you have to remember voice and data are too different and they're not as similar. Voice is a natural application.
Yes.
Consumers understand very well.
Yes.
Accessing internet is going to be a lot of effort required, not only from telecom companies, but also from the ecosystem, from handset manufacturers, from startups, from multinational internet companies.
Yes.
All of us have to work it together to be able to transition this society. In fact, I will say transform this society from an analog to a digital. So pricing is not going to be the only important elements. It is going to be a huge effort of demand generation.
Sure.
And the first step of that is a massive infrastructure building, which is currently on way, with both 3G and 4G being expanded from a current levels. And I believe that currently only about 300 million Indians have a possibility of using wireless broadband. In the next 3 to 4 years, 1 billion Indians will have a possibility to do that. Well, all the telecom operators are investing so heavily in mobile data. This will change the face of India.
Yes, it
and
will. The impact, Mr. Kapania, that people are trying to... Now, so for example, Sunil Bharti Mittal, I believe in an interview to the Economic Times, was candid enough to... his thought were that there is reason to be apprehensive of this upcoming launch. You don't sound too bothered with this, with the RelGeo thing.
So the reason is very straightforward. We see this as a big opportunity. And I've been in the market, I've been in the telecom sector for the last 20 years. I've seen the last disruption which took place in the period 2003, 2006. At that point of time when India moved from a market structure of 2 to 4 operators to 6 operators, and then later in 2008-9 when it moved as much as 16 operators. Okay, but in all that period, while the market was worried about disruption, what we saw was growth levels at anywhere between 15 to 20% on a consistent basis. And Idea at that point in time was a very small company, and we have had a CAGR growth from the time of an IPO to as of now over 25%,
Yes.
as well as and a similar impact was seen on our profitability.
Okay.
So we see this huge investment and large capacity build up will be much shorter than the overall demand that we believe will going to come up in the next 4 to 5 years, and it will help us take the country to the next level of growth and the next level.
Okay, great. Let's talk about Idea in particular now. I take it on record that you believe this is not a big threat, it's actually an opportunity, the LGO bit. It's actually good to know that. Now, Idea in particular, you spent about 3,300, 3,500 odd crore rupees to making some acquisitions. Would this strategy continue? Would you look at, for example, Videocon circles in Bihar, UP East, because that is on the block as well? And just a follow-up on that, analysts believe a lot of your acquisitions that you're doing are probably coming in a little too late. How would you respond to that?
So let's take, there are two parts of the same question. As regards our acquisition on spectrum, I'd like to remind you that it's not only spectrum trading. We participated in 2014 and 2015 auctions, and we've spent 44,000 crore rupees in that auction. Along with that 3,300 crores. So if you put from the last 4 auctions plus this acquisition, the company spent 51,000 crores in spectrum acquisition, and moved from almost nil spectrum. In fact, only 35 megahertz post expiry was the spectrum. We now have 285 megahertz of spectrum. Number two, our belief, while 3G started in 2011, even as we talk, only about 8 to 9% of Indians currently use 3G services, though the smartphone sale is much faster.
Yes.
This is all slated to change into future. So we believe it's not about sprint, what we are doing, what has happened, who got 100-meter ahead of us, but it's a long race, 5,000 kilometers if I have to take an analogy of sport. And in this long marathon, the people who are capable to hold themselves for a long period of time and have a long-term visions are the ones who are going to be real winners.
Okay, long, slow, and have a lot of distance. Okay, my next question then is that since you mentioned about the kind of money that you already spent into acquisitions, so on and so forth, would you believe that there could be capex risk to the balance sheet of Idea, or do you believe that that will not be the case? What are your own views on the kind of capex that you had to do and the stress that it has put on the balance sheet?
There is no doubt that there has been some lumping of our investments.
Yes.
Given the fact that we had to do renewal of our spectrum, and today we have 16 out of 22 circles we managed to get renewal, highest among incumbent operators, almost covering about 80% of our revenue, as well as purchasing 3G and 4G spectrum. There is no doubt there is a lumping of this. But let's look at our cash flows, let's look at our EBITDA. In the last 3 years, we've been growing our EBITDA at 30% year-on-year basis, margins improving by 3%. Let's look at first half of this year versus first half of last year. We had a EBITDA of 5,700 crores, a growth of 27%. Our cash profits are at 5,000 crore in the first half itself, so likely touching around 11,000 crore this year, a growth of over 30%, and sufficient cash flows are being generated to be able to finance the capital needs of this company. We've already announced increasing our overall capex expenditure from earlier levels. In the past, we used to spend about 3,000 to 3,500 crores. We this year announced 6,500 crores, and we're installing about 40 to 45,000 sites. So we believe sufficient capex has already been provided for, and our cash flows will be able to take care of both our capex needs as well funding the spectrum's repayments that we've already committed to.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNow Live. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.